Just first off, heading into this first couple games, how do you think the team's looking? How's the competition between the team looking?
I'm pleased. I mean, we're healthy. The guys have performed well. I think a lot of tough decisions for the staff, which is again where you want that. We have a lot of options in our wide positions, and it's an area that obviously you'd like some depth with the way we like to press and dictate the game. So, the good progression throughout the preseason, and I think each game really presented a different scenario for us that is going to be like we face in the first stages of the season. Teams that make it really tight and compact. Some teams have played open, a little bit of everything. So I think we're as prepared as you can be with still 10 days with preparation.
Right. Yeah.
It's still tough.
Can you ever be ready at this time of the year, or do you wish you had another month to be?
As a player, they feel ready, which I like. As a coach, you never feel ready because you feel like there's still more you want to get done. So we prioritize and do what we can in the amount of time, but it's it's a work in progress, and you play these tough teams to see where you're at. But I think the players, physically and what we've given them, I think we've maximized what we can at this point, and we just keep adding things throughout the year when it comes to adding layers to our team.
You talked about that competition. Did the 3 exhibitions do anything to narrow that down, or is it still sort of broadened out or make it tougher? Or
I think some players have made it more difficult. I think the positive is Rashad's really elevated his play as a striker and gives us another option. I mean, Richard did a really nice job this spring, and he's still one that is going to play in that role. Ian has done a really nice job as a true freshman to push and tell us where he is. We didn't know that coming into preseason. I think no question that a player like even a Corey Thomas, who played wide, really elevated his stock in the last week with his performances in the game. And I think some of the usual returners have made it very clear that again their spot on the field is going to be difficult to take. But the nice thing is they know how talented some of our players are that are not potential starting role, and they're all about the next guy up. Let's go, get it done. And this group's very motivated to have success, and the ego is one that they're able to keep very much in check, and I'm pleased with that. So, with that said, I think we're in a good position to play whoever is the hot hand at the time.
Going against New Mexico, is there certain combinations that match up better for that particular game versus, say, Sunday?
Yeah, hard to tell. I mean, New Mexico's a team that we haven't, you don't know much in the opponent at this time of year, and I know they always have good quality in the front half. They're always tough and athletic. They're going to make life difficult for us the best they can, and they're well coached, so they're balanced. And so there's not, I don't think, one necessarily scenario or combination that we have. So it might be just kind of how the game was presenting itself, and we make changes accordingly. Whether it's flipping roles of players that are on the field into different roles. We do that with Tanner. Phil Fives is different on the left and the right based on what we see is available. We played Tanner in a role majority of the UCLA game that, again, the next game he may not play there. So it really does depend, and if we need size and physicality, Rashad's brings that, but he's been doing a lot of other good things too. So I feel like we have a player that can kind of give us what we need in the moment of the game, and just need them to play their A game to bring what they know they're capable of.
What are you able to tune into or focus on in practice this week after having 3 exhibition games, boom, 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 in a row last week?
I think we can do, we don't have to do as much big because we got a lot of practical scenarios live and also on video now to rehearse and learn. So it's now fine-tuning final third play, critical areas, restarts, and keeping them sharp and ready physically. That's the focus. I think a lot of the big picture stuff, we were able to get as much done as what we can, so we can fine-tune, do things in the back third, front third, finishing restarts, and make them physically feel like they're ready to roll, and want them a little bit cage tigers ready for Friday.
You start on the road this year. That's a little different than in the past. Usually it's the classic starting at home. Any advantages, disadvantages to starting on the road like that?
We don't know. We don't think so. This team's been really good on the road, and this mentality, this group, very comfortable with that facility up in South Bend. It's a nice field. So no, I think they want to get going, and I don't think they're looking much into the fact that it's kind of reversed than normal. Maybe they're thinking more than I am, but I know they're very focused on this weekend, and they have had a good success on the road, so I don't think there's any intimidation there.
Talk about Grant and how he's played to this point.
I think Grant's progressed through the preseason. I thought each game he's been sharper. He's had a tough summer with I-Corps. He's worked his tail off. He's physically prepared, but he had a tough summer academically, and I think he had to kind of find his sharpness in preseason. And Grant's always one that when needs to be elevated and when things need to rise, he'll find it. And I'm not concerned one bit about where he'll be, this week and moving forward.
And then what was with the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge out there?
Well, Colin had some good news for everyone. He's my first that was engaged, still in college, so good for him. But that's why we gave him a little celebration today. So we're excited for him.
Obviously, high expectations coming into the season. What kind of leadership can you see, whether it's from like the older guys like Fives or Colin or some of the younger guys?
I think we have good leadership. Derek's the returning captain. He's not on an island by himself. He has a lot of natural leadership qualities with his focus and his attention to detail. But I think Tanner has some great leadership in game, and he has such a great understanding of the game that his voice is coming more dominant when it comes to adjustments. And you see players like Richard Ballard as a senior and Phil Fives elevating his presence and playing with even more confidence and demonstrating that I've got to be able to come outside of myself a little bit in games that maybe aren't going his way as he wanted. Grant Lillard's doing a really nice job with his leadership. Frankie Moore, there's a lot of guys. I mean, even like a young player like Jeremiah, who's truly a true freshman, but been here 2 years, but he should be a freshman based on his true academic path. He's playing like he's been here 3 years. So it's good to see some of those, because you need more than one to have a successful season.
We've seen Ian Black and Spencer Glass in some of the exhibition games. How instrumental do you think the freshmen are going to be, even early in the season or as the season moves on?
I like this group. I like their personality. I like they're inherently fit in fantastic with the group. It's some might come quicker than others for time on the field, but I see a lot of really good potential players within this group. And it's difficult sometimes to find that immediate on the field reward, but we have such great examples of players that have, whether they've had to kind of bring along their time or redshirt a year, and there's great examples of that. And we haven't made any decisions on some of the players yet. Just like last year with Austin Poncho and Jordan, I mean, we weren't sure what we were going to do, and next thing you know, we're playing both. And so we have to wait to see how the games are going and their form. They've only been with us a short time, so we might see another difference in a week from now. But overall, they're pushing, and that's making our team better. Whether that translates to on the field, we can't tell at this point.
Coach, I'm talking to Derek Crevison today. You mentioned that he's one of the returning leaders in this team. What does a guy like Derek bring to your team on and off the pitch?
Derek's just one of the most focused, players I've been able to coach, and he's got a really good idea of like when he needs to make everything very focused and serious, and when he needs to have a pat on the back to a player. He's got a really good feel for that. He's balanced on and off the field. The guys just have a lot of respect for him. He's well put together, and he's been a starter here. He's been consistent. I think with Derek, he's an epitome of a guy you can trust. You know what you're going to get from Derek, and that's a great leadership quality. So he'll be a big part of that group of leaders this year.
Thanks, Coach.